Hello. So, for my Photovoice presentation, for my first picture around myself, I picked a picture of me in Mexico. This is because this was a time where me and my family really kind of showed what we're about. It was also one of my favorite times. I had a blast. I got to explore the world. I got to go see ancient civilizations. I got to go scuba diving. It was so much fun. I also stayed 5 minutes from one of my friends from school, which was really nice because I ended up getting to go and see him. This is actually the one and only time I've ever gone to a casino as well because I'm not a big gambler, but I thought this was a really good picture for my introduction into my photo voice presentation because it really kind of sets the stage for the way I like looking at life. I try to experience as many things as possible while also staying in a comfortable and happy environment. But also, I know, and what this trip taught me is that sometimes it is really good to push myself into new situations that I'm not quite familiar with, cultures, and just areas. I mean, wasn't just Americans speaking English there, it was Englishmen, Australians, people from all over the world. And I thought it was just a really nice experience. And I thought it was a really progressive and growth were growth noteworthy of an experience, if that makes sense. And then for psychological self, I picked a picture of the water. This is because ever since I grew up, the water has been very calming to me. It's been a very peaceful area. I would go swimming with my friends in middle school. I'd bike into town and I would go swimming, and I loved it. It gave me so much fun memories and all of the good times. I also got peace out of it. I also spent a lot of time sailing and fishing with my grandfather, which has made the water really important to me. Even more so since he's passed away, I would say, just because kind of it gives me a way to reconnect with what we used to do when he was still alive. For biological self, I put a picture of cherry blossoms. I put this because it, less than my biology, it goes to show the biology and the way of living around where I grew up. It shows that a lot of kids go through farm work and a lot of kids spend a lot of time outdoors, working in environments and the environment. And I think it really helps encapsulate who I am because I've always worked outside. So it's part of the way I grew up, working with my dad's family business, working long hours on the farm. It has just always been a biological aspect of my life that the outdoors conducted and consumed a lot of my time. Um, for spiritual self, I put a picture of the sunset. This is because I'm not very religious or spiritual, but I do think there's beauty in the world, and I think there's a lot going on that I don't know, and I attribute that to my own spirituality. The things that I don't know and I can't control, I don't need to force myself to feel like I need control over, and that gives me a nice ability to collect my peace of mind. And sunsets are also just a very calming spot for me, and I think they're really genuine, and I think it helps describe who I am because I spent a lot of my time at sunsets. When I was in high school and things like that, after soccer practice and things like that, before the days started getting shorter, I'd go to the sunsets. I would just go for a swim, let my body decompress after running for 3 hours straight and things like that. Along those lines, and I feel like it was really just beneficial. It gave me honestly a nice zen that that sounds weird to say for me, but it did. It gave me a nice zen, gave me a nice, just cool, calm environment that allowed me to process what I needed to. For culture, I put a picture of my Greek life family. This is in the fraternity. I think this culture is very good because, well, for me at least, I wouldn't say it's right for everyone, but it has helped me socialize, it has helped me grow, and it has helped me branch out, learning how to be social and connect with people and build those connections that I need in a job career. It also just goes to show the socially, like the culturally social environment I want to be in. I like when I get along with people. I like when I have, even if they're not friends but acquaintances. And the frat my Greek life family have given me that ability. For example, the girl or young woman that I am next to in the picture, that's my Greek grandmother. She was one of my brother's best friends in college, and now she looks after me like an older sister. So I gained two older siblings out of it. I have my Greek dad, who looks after me and texts me every week, my Greek grandmother, who looks after me and texts me every week. And I feel like those things are just really like demonstrating why I personally joined the fraternity. And then for physical environment, I did a picture of our last car wash in front of the house because how much time the fraternity house has consumed of mine in the last 2 years. Well, 2.5, 3 years almost. Even when I was in high school, it was an environment that I was familiar with and comfortable with. My brother was in the fraternity. I feel safe in this environment. I know I have people I can rely on and trust. And I think it's just been a very growing and growth worthy environment that I put myself into. I know it wasn't always the greatest, but it taught me a lot of lessons, and it taught me how to expand my understanding of other people, even if it's not something that I'm quite comfortable with or even familiar with. Then for my family, I put a picture of my family in Mexico. I know I'm not in it, and I probably should have been in the picture, but I think it describes my family really good because we were arguing before this picture, and even when we are arguing, our family always loves to stick together. Our one primary goal as a family is to kind of be able to rely on one another and count on one another, and I feel like this picture describes it really well because my family is still trying to make the most out of the trip that we had. They were trying to spend as much time together. Taking me and my brother out of the country for our first time was very important to my parents. They really wanted to do that with us, and that is part of why me and my brother went on this spring break. And I think it just demonstrates how connected my family is. I mean, we argue constantly, and yet I still cry every time I have to leave, just because, I mean, we might argue, but they're my parents and my brother, and they're important to me, and I've grown very attached to them, as one could guess. And then for small groups, I put a picture of my coworkers at the summer camp. I think for me, this is a really important small group because it was my first group of solid group of friends outside of the fraternity since high school that I made. And it showed me that I can still bond and connect with these people and build these strong friendships without the fraternity environment. And that was a fear that I had grown. But this environment and this job that I took that pushed me allowed me to grow past that. And all of these people are still in my life to one way or another. And I think it's been very beneficial. And it's a really important group to me that I plan to stay in touch with. And they taught me that it's good to care about other people, and it's okay to care about other people. You can still have fun and love others, and I think that was really important because some of my environments in life kind of don't hit that mark. And then for formal organization, I put high school. I think it was a very mediocre time of my life, honestly. I don't really have much to say about it. It's just the only formal organization that I really have an opinion on. I think high school really wasn't for me. It created a lot of dynamics in my life that were harmful and stressful, but I thought it would be good to note that it's a time in my life that I did grow past and I did develop and build skills from. For my community, I put a picture of my neighbor Ashton. The neighborhood I live in this year, I am very social with pretty much all of them, and it's been really good for me. A lot of them have been people I've known since freshman year, which is a benefit from the Greek life. But this community, it's got an environment of friendliness, lovingness, and caringness that I haven't really felt in other places I've lived since college. And the ability to go knock on my neighbor's door and actually have a conversation with them is just something I've always wanted in school. And so being able to have that this year has really helped boost my self-esteem and mood. And then for social institution and social movements, I put my fraternity, another frat thing, I'm sorry, but my fraternity's Walk Hard. It's a walk from Traverse City to Grand Rapids, or the Allendale campus, actually, if I'm being specific. but it raises money for suicide awareness and prevention, which is really important to me because I have had friends commit suicide in my life that I've been really close to in high school, and that kind of showed me that I always want to advocate and work for other people. My brother also had one of his really, really close friends in the fraternity commit suicide, so that was a really big boost for me to join. And it's also just something I gain a lot from. Like, I gain the ability to say that I'm helping people that in some situations don't have help, and it's a positive experience. I've done support team, and every year since I joined I help gather donations, and it's just something that I've always loved. And then for social work identity, I put volunteering with the fraternity. Yeah, it's kind of cliche. I know I did a lot of frat things. It has been a very not controlling but constructive part of my life. It's taught me a lot of things about myself, even if some of them are things I wish I learned faster. But with the volunteering, it showed me that it's always good to help people in your community no matter what, and that no one is ever going to turn down help, and no one is ever going to be mad at someone who is willing to help. And all of these things have kind of pushed me towards social work because they allow me to realize how much I enjoy helping people and working with people, and how much of a good impact it brings into my life. It makes me feel better, and being able to help all these people and connect with all the people I have in college due to the fraternity has honestly helped push me towards the major more, because it has taught me that I can help in many more environments than the few narrow-minded environments that I started with, such as thinking that I'd only work with at-risk children or drug addicts and things like that. It showed me that social workers impact the community in more ways than one.